What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. What up, what up, what up, what up? This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys continue to stay engaged. This platform, this beast we have here, it does not get fed. It does not continue the motion without you guys staying completely active, without you guys staying engaged. So exercise your right as a consumer. Understand your power as a consumer. Utilize that. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. To continue to share the content. Continue to comment on the content. And it's straight like that. You guys know how I bring it. You guys know the energy. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the hate. I appreciate all the curses. You feel what I'm saying? You guys have been really active supporting the channel. You guys have been extremely active supporting the TikTok as well and the Instagram page. You guys have just been dope. So I really do appreciate all of you guys for supporting the channel and finding the channel and committing to the channel. And it's straight like that, you guys. Shout out to Benjamin Allen, fan of the Eagles fan. Little G Griffith, KGK. Appreciate you guys for being in the live stream. Means a lot to me. So we're not going to waste too much time here. We're going to get right to the shits. All right? Part of my lingo. I want to talk to you guys about Andrew Mukuba. I was thinking about Andrew Mukuba over the course of the holiday weekend. Happy Memorial Day to a lot of you guys. Happy Memorial Day. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Some of you guys are probably cooking on the grill right now. Some of you guys are probably on your way to the festivities. Just make sure you guys stay safe, drink responsibly, eat responsibly. You know what I mean? Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. But I want to talk to you guys about Andrew Mukuba because I'm looking at Andrew Mukuba as a guy who has a really big opportunity in front of him. A very, very lucrative opportunity is in front of Andrew Mukuba. And with that opportunity comes pressure, expectations. Philadelphia is not an easy city to play for. And Philadelphia tends to call you out pretty early if you're not doing your job. Now, Andrew Mukuba, he strikes me as the kind of guy that handles pressure well. Right? I think Andrew Mukuba, if I'm not mistaken, he transferred to Texas after playing at Clemson. He was at Clemson mainly for his entire college career. He was at Clemson for 3 seasons in the ACC, then transferred to Texas in the SEC because he's used to that pressure. He wants that action. And I can respect that. Not only did he play well in the ACC at Clemson, but he took his talent to the SEC and was a phenomenal player there as well. So he's a guy that doesn't shy away from the contact, doesn't shy away from the adversity, doesn't shy away from competition. That's important to me. That's important. Whatever he accomplished at the ACC level or the conference, he said, you know what? I want to take my talents to the SEC. I heard the best wide receivers over there. I want that. And lo and behold, Mukuba did exactly what Mukuba does. He played well. And again, he has a big opportunity in front of him because the Eagles did trade away CJGJ, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They traded him to the Houston Texans for a draft pick and an offensive guard. So it was not like the Eagles got a safety back in that trade or whatever it may be. The Eagles decided to go very young. The Eagles decided to cut cost at that safety position, and they drafted Andrew Mukuba in the 2nd round. Right? Mukuba was a 2nd round pick. And I think Mukuba has a strong chance to win this spot. I really do. Now, he does have to deal with Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown isn't guaranteed anything as well. Sidney Brown hasn't been a starter on his team. He's been pretty much a backup safety, a guy that you have on special teams who's very effective, right? He's made plays on special teams. He's made some plays on defense, but Sidney Brown has never really been a consistent starter on defense for the Philadelphia Eagles unless there was injury involved. So Sidney Brown and Andrew Mukuba, in theory, are starting from the same place. Now, Sidney, he's been in the league longer. Sidney is entering year 3, right? He's entering year 3. And he started off year 2 behind the 8 ball because he got hurt at the end of year 1. So now Sidney Brown has a full offseason in the Vic Fangio program. Andrew Mukuba is going to have the same amount of time. This is going to come down to who Vic Fangio trusts the most. That's what's going to come down to, who he trusts the most. Because Mukuba is a fan favorite right now. He's a fan favorite for a few reasons. One of the reasons is because he's new. I think that's just what happens when you bring in a new player. Fans get excited. They want that player to be the best player in the world, and they believe that player is better than any player that's already on the roster. That's kind of the new shine. That's kind of the new luster that comes with being a high-end draft pick, right? You know, whenever you're drafted those early rounds and the team has any, or if the fan base has any kind of questions regarding a position, they think you're the best thing since sliced bread. So it's to be expected, Andrew Mukuba being a fan favorite in that regard. He's also a fan favorite just because of the talent. I mean, the coverage skills. The coverage skills are real. Andrew Mukuba's coverage skills is not something that should be overlooked. I mean, he was a 4-star athlete coming out of high school, going into college. According to NFL Draft Buzz, he has a 99% coverage grade, a 96% zone coverage grade, and a 98% man press grade. And he has an 84% run defense grade, and he tackles at a 73% rate. He has a 73% tackling grade, and quarterbacks have a 38.7 passer rating when targeting him. So Andrew Mukuba, he has legit coverage skills, and it shows up on the highlights. It shows up on the film. He's twitchy, very rangy guy, very physical, not afraid to hit you. So he brings a lot of sauce to the position. He brings a lot of energy, a lot of physicality to the position. Now, Sidney Brown brings a lot of physicality to the position as well. But I think another reason why Mukuba is a fan favorite, I think some fans don't think Sidney Brown can take that next step in coverage. That's what I've been hearing. That's what it seems like. Maybe you guys can fill me in and tell me different, but it seems to me that a lot of people have fallen out of favor with Sidney Brown, whether they think he can't take that next step in coverage. Maybe they think he's just too erratic. They haven't seen the growth from him in terms of just being a more disciplined player. I don't really know what it is, but I don't think Sidney Brown has done enough for us to give up on him. But I also don't think he's done enough for us to be totally all in on him either. So Andrew Mukuba, Sidney Brown, I think they both have a fair shot to get this starting job next to Reed Blankenship. The question is, who does Vic Fangio trust more? And if I had to put my money on it, if I had to bet on it, I would probably bet on Andrew Mukuba, mainly because he's coming to the league with a much more refined skill set when it comes to coverage. Now, Sidney Brown does have the edge physically. He has the edge from a weight standpoint. Sidney Brown has more size on him than Andrew Mukuba. They're about the same height, but as far as just size, Sidney Brown has more on him, and that's something that Andrew Mukuba has been working at. He's been putting on weight little by little as the off season has progressed. So I think Andrew Mukuba will be sitting nicely in that. Let's see what he is now, because at the combine. Or I'm sorry, at the combine he weighed 186, but they said that at his pro day he put on like 5 to 8 pounds of muscle. So let's just say at his pro day he weighed like 194, 195, right? When the season starts, can Andrew Mukuba get to 200? Can Mukuba get to 200 pounds about time the season starts? I think it's possible. And you want that to be the right weight, right? You want that to be muscle. You want that to be good weight. You don't want that to just be food he's eating. Right. I think we can clearly see the physical stature, the frame difference between Mukuba and Sidney Brown. But because Mukuba is so refined in coverage, more refined than Sidney Brown, and he plays just as physical, and he plays the game with a mean streak, he's somebody you probably will want back there. He kind of gives you, from what I've been hearing, what I've read, he gives you Chauncey Gardner-Johnson vibes. You know what I mean? That guy that plays the game on the line. Plays the game on the line. We got a super chat here. Shout out to my man Kyle Kokorski with the $5 super chat. He says Mukuba looks a little bit like Honey Badger. I've heard that as well. Brian says Sidney Brown will not bow down. Mukuba is going to learn for a season. Hey, listen, Brian, to your point, Brian, I don't expect Sidney Brown to just sit back and lay down either. I don't expect that. But to assume Mukuba is just going to sit back and learn for a season, at this point, we can't expect that in this Vic Fangio defense. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean came in and were starters essentially day one. Quinyon Mitchell started in week 1. Cooper DeJean started in week 6 after coming back from injury. You know, he was behind the 8 ball, and Vic Fangio didn't want to put him out there right away those first 4 weeks. So he let him sit for a second, get his bearings. And then week 6 came along, against the Browns. And it was pretty much curtains from there. Cooper DeJean took off. But those guys pretty much started in the first quarter of the season, the first leg of the season, like that first month and a half in the season. I don't think we can look past Andrew Mukuba winning that starting spot. I don't think we can assume Sidney Brown's going to be the starter just because of experience. You know what I mean? But I do agree with you that Sidney Brown is not going to give up. He's not going to just going to sit back and accept the circumstances. Sidney Brown is going to bring it. And we know Sidney Brown he's 150% when it comes to effort. He does not shortchange anything. So we'll see. Thank you for commenting, Brian. I appreciate you. My OG S Blunt, he said in the interview he wants to play between 190 and 195. Talking about Andrew Mukuba. Okay, I'm cool with that. As long as he's comfortable in his body and he feels like he can do all the things he needs to get done. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? I want the player to feel secure and comfortable in what he's doing. And if he doesn't feel as agile, if he doesn't feel as athletic, or he doesn't feel quite like his best self, if he's 200, 205, whatever it may be, then don't do it. Because I think Sidney Brown is what, like 210? Sidney Brown is 211. Sidney Brown is 5'10, 211 to Andrew Mukuba's 5'11, 194, 193, something like that. So there is a difference there. There is a difference there. But I think this is a fun matchup to watch. I do. Fanny, how you doing, ma'am? She says, Sidney Brown needs to stay at gunner. Special teams is a spot. Well, I do love him on special teams. He plays the game with reckless abandon. That's the kind of guy you want back there as a gunner. You know, I do like him there. Don't get it twisted. But I'm sure he has higher aspirations for himself. I'm sure he believes that he can be a starter in this league at some point. I'm sure he believes that. And Fangio is going to give him a shot. He's a safety on his team. He's a safety first. So he's going to have a shot. He's going to have a shot at that starting spot, no matter how much we like him at gunner. AJ Jones says, Sidney Brown's going to be all right once he learns better speed control. Yeah, his problem is he has a hard time finding the brake pedal. Like he drives like the brake pedal doesn't exist. It's 100 miles per hour with him. He has to learn to shift down. He has to learn to gear down. Jimbo with the comment says here, Mukuba can make a huge impact. Vic Fangio has to love his coverage skills and tackling. If he can show that he's comfortable in the system, I think he'll start. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Vic Fangio, he was excited about Jihaad Campbell. I wouldn't be surprised if he was excited about Andrew Mukuba. So, yeah, Andrew Mukuba, and it's interesting, right? When you think about the comparison to Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, you know, CJGJ kind of came into the Eagles as he kind of came to the Eagles in 2022 as he already was. He had a reputation, things of that nature, right? And then he came back in 2024, a more mature player, but still had some problems in between. Got ejected from a game. Really good player though. I think the Eagles probably also look at Andrew Mukuba as a guy that brings that same edge, brings that same talent potential that CJGJ brings, but maybe we can refine his leadership style a little bit better. Because we're getting him as a rookie, we could probably get ahead of all those things that probably come with CJGJ when you trade for a guy or sign a guy in free agency, right? When you get him into your system, you get him into your culture early enough, you'll be able to curb and focus a lot of that energy towards the opponent. We'll see though. But I'm really excited about Andrew Mukuba. I think Andrew Mukuba is a guy that has all the talent in the world to play the position well, has enough speed. It's funny, Andrew Mukuba at what is this? He ran a 4.45 40-yard dash. Whereas Sidney Brown ran a 4.47. So Sidney Brown and Mukuba have similar 40-yard dash times. Sidney Brown ran a 4.47. Mukuba ran a 4.45. But it's no mistaking, though. It's no mistaking that both of these guys are legit athletes. I think Sidney Brown may be the overall better athlete. That's what I think. I think Sidney Brown may be the better overall athlete, but Mukuba brings arguably a close amount of athleticism plus the coverage skills. Because I mean, Sidney Brown, he just jumps. Sidney Brown, he had a 40.5 vertical, a 130 inch broad jump. He bench pressed 23 reps, a 151 10-yard split. Andrew Mukuba had a 153 10-yard split. Andrew Mukuba, he also didn't lift at the combine either. So, and it looks like he didn't do the vertical either. So, if somebody told me Sidney Brown's a better athlete than Andrew Mukuba, I would believe him. But if somebody told me Andrew Mukuba probably has higher upside and coverage, I would believe them as well. AJ Jones says, Tone, week 1, who you got starting against Dallas at safety? Ooh. Well, I already said earlier, if I had to put my money on somebody, I'd probably put it on Andrew Mukuba. I'll likely put it on Mukuba. So to answer your question, AJ, I'm rolling with Mukuba. I'm rolling on Mukuba. Alex says, I have big hopes for Mukuba. Hopefully it translates to the NFL. Yeah, I'm with you, man. He brings. Listen, the Eagles have done an amazing job at evaluating talent these past handful of seasons, right? You know, the Devontae Smiths of the world, the Landon Dickersons, the Jalen Hunts, the Tyler Steens, the Trevor Keegans, right? The Cam Jurgens, the Nakobe Deans, Jalen Carter, Moro Ojomo, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, right? The Trotter Juniors, the Jordan Davises, the Keely Ringos of the world, right? Even the Dallas Goederts and the Josh Sweat and the Milton Williams and the Jalen Hurts. Like, the Eagles have done a phenomenal, like these past 5 draft classes, arguably these past 7 draft classes, if you really do the science on it, the Eagles have done a pretty good job at evaluating talent. Now, the 2020 draft is a little funny money. Jalen Hurts is the golden goose from that draft class. But overall, I think the past 7 years, we're on the Eagles are on the right side of history when it comes to evaluating talent. Kyle Kokorski says, Tone, what game you think is the toughest in September? Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, that's a good question. Let me see real quick. That's a good question. You got to go with the Bucks, honestly. You got to go with the Bucks, in my opinion, because there's something there. There's some underlying reason why we struggle. We struggle playing in Tampa Bay. Now, granted, we won there before. Let's not get it twisted. We did beat them in 2023 at the beginning of the season. And then they smacked us in the playoffs that year. But I think the Bucks may be the tougher matchup. It's a road game. You're coming off of the Rams matchup. You know, there's something there. I'll probably say the Bucks. But like where my man at? Like Alex just said, if the Eagles are healthy, Tampa's food. I do agree with that 100%. But see, here's the thing. I think the Rams and the Chiefs are the more talented like opponents. But there's something mythical about that Bucks matchup that always seems to catch us off guard. There's something about it. There's something mythical that's happening there. Tiffany Dark Chocolate says Reed Blankenship is so underrated. He's a baller. Yeah, I agree with that. I think Reed Blankenship doesn't get enough credit. Jimbo says, I can't wait to see Ty Robinson out there. He has so much upside to make an impact in year 1. You're absolutely right about that. I see. The thing is, Ty Robinson, he's going to be in that rotation with Moro Ojomo, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis. We'll see what step Byron Young and Thomas Booker, the 4th take, even Gabe Hall. We'll see what step they take. But I think that first 4-man rotation is going to be Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Moro Ojomo, and Ty Robinson. I think that's what it's going to be. And then you may sprinkle in those other guys if injury happens or whatever it may be. But I'm looking forward to seeing Ty Robinson as well. I think he's a violent player. D. Aldrich says we need to stop losing to the Bucks. Damn, no, bro, you're right. Like it's people. It's at a point now where people think that we just can't beat them, and I don't think that's the case. I think there's legit circumstances surrounding why we lost to them. But it's whatever. It's whatever. I'm not even going to act up. I'm not even going to act up about it. But overall, yeah, just closing out the topic about Sidney Brown and Andrew Mukuba. Andrew Mukuba has an opportunity here. He can start. He can start. There's a chance the Eagles could have 2 rookies starting again on defense come week 1. There's a chance. I just mentioned Andrew Mukuba. He could start week 1. It's possible. I think he wins the job. But even more so than that, I spoke about Saquon Mondon potentially starting in week 1 because of the nature of the linebacker position right now. You know, Jihaad Campbell recovering from rehab or recovering from an injury. He had surgery. And then Nakobe Dean recovering from a surgery that he got due to an injury he sustained in the first round of the playoffs, in the wild card round. So your 2 healthy guys right now are Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Saquon Mondon. Those are your 2 healthy guys. So now you look at the linebacker position and you say to yourself, okay, what's the upside of it? Yeah, Saquon Mondon, he could start potentially. Could be Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But when Nakobe Dean and Jihaad Campbell get healthy, what's the situation? How is this going to work? Now, I want to spend this time to focus more so on the Nakobe Dean side of things, because a report came out that Nakobe Dean is doing very well in terms of his recovery. I think they said he's ahead of schedule, and he's been doing a lot of ballet to really work on his flexibility and mobility. Nakobe Dean mentioned that ballet has been really instrumental in his recovery, and he obviously, you know, he's using it as a tool. You know, he respects the craft, but he's been using it as a tool to just sustain, maintain flexibility and just overall mobility, right? And that ultimately helps. The more flexible you are, the less likely you are to sustain certain injuries. Your body can, you know, hold up to the stress test. But Nakobe Dean, this is a really, really big situation that he's in, because his recovery is so important, not just to the Eagles, but it's to him as well. The Eagles added a ton of talent at that linebacker position. They brought in Jihaad Campbell, Saquon Mondon. You still got Jeremiah Trotter sitting there. They got this guy named Dallas Gant. I'm not sure what he's going to be. But the Eagles have talent at linebacker now. Zack Baun is there. Obviously, he's a starter. And Zack Baun and Nakobe Dean, they played very well together. The proof is in the pudding. The film is out there. Nakobe Dean and Zack Baun have chemistry. It works with them two. But because Nakobe has to bounce back from the injury, now we look at that position and we say to ourselves, who's Vic Fangio going to put out there? Now, Nakobe earned his trust. I think when it's all said and done, Nakobe will probably be inserted back into the lineup, especially if Saquon Mondon or Jeremiah Trotter Jr. are kind of shaky a little bit. There's a chance you may see Nakobe Dean inserted back into that lineup. And you might see Jihaad Campbell, because you haven't really seen him in the offseason. You're not going to see him in the preseason. There's a chance that Vic Fangio won't start Jihaad Campbell at linebacker next to Zack Baun. You may see him come in a rotational role, playing the edge, you know, mixing things up, relieving some guys. But I think because Nakobe Dean has that experience with Vic Fangio trusts him. Now it's all about finding out if he's healthy or not. I think when those first 4 or 5 weeks pass, because remember, Nakobe's going to start the season on the PUP list. He's going to start the season on the PUP list. And therefore, he's going to be behind the 8 ball a little bit. But because of that amazing season he had last year, he was phenomenal. Like, Nakobe Dean was truly off the charts good last year. He was one of the best linebackers in football behind Zack Baun. And if it wasn't for that injury, I think Nakobe Dean probably would have been having contract talks right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. If it wasn't for that injury, you know, who knows if they draft Jihaad Campbell? We don't know, right? But Nakobe Dean does have an uphill battle. But he's doing everything possible to make sure he's prepared for that battle. And you got some people asking a very real question. Some people are asking a very real question. Can he replicate what he did in 2024 and 2025? What's going on, Dad? My dad is in the building. Shout out to my dad. People are questioning, can Nakobe Dean replicate what he did in 2024? And he's coming off of an injury. That's going to be tough. I don't want people to overlook that. That's going to be tough. And everything I'm hearing, the patella injury, he looks good. Like, I mean, he's moving around, he's walking around with the team. He's not on crutches anymore. He's clearly rehabbing. I think Nakobe Dean, from a playing perspective, I think he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine once he gets on the football field. But people have questions still. Will he be able to replicate what he did in 2024 and 2025, especially coming off of an injury? Jihaad Campbell's in the building now, right? What does Nakobe Dean's long-term future look like with the Philadelphia Eagles? He is in a contract year. That's why the conversation surrounding Nakobe Dean is polarizing. It makes some people uncomfortable because they want you to be a fan of him and they want you to support him, but they also don't want you to talk about the reality of his situation. And my mindset is, I'm going to support the player. I'm going to support for his full recovery. I'm going to acknowledge the facts surrounding the player. I'm also going to acknowledge that he is facing an uphill battle. He's battling his body. He's battling his teammates. It's not an easy proposition that he's in. It's not. Everything I've heard, this patella injury was real, and it's difficult to recover from, depending on the severity of the tear. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if any of you guys are, but Nakobe Dean proved he can play. He proved he can play next to Zack Baun. He proved he can execute Vic Fangio's system. He proved that. So I think ultimately, when he gets healthy, Nakobe Dean will be on the football field. I do believe that wholeheartedly. I believe Nakobe Dean will be healthy or will be on the football field when he's healthy. Now, like I mentioned, he's going to miss the first 4 weeks because he's going to start on the PUP list. So week 5, right? Week 5 is the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. Does Nakobe Dean come back for the Broncos game in week 5? Does he come back for the Giants game week 6? I think we're going to see Nakobe Dean in one of those 2 games, week 5 or week 6, because when you're on the PUP list, if they don't clear you, if they don't activate you, you got to go on IR. And you're done for the year. So week 5, that has to be it. Otherwise, if Nakobe Dean isn't cleared by week 5, they got to shut him down for the year. They got to shut him down for the year if he's not cleared by week 5. So now we ask ourselves, what's the timeline comparison between Jihaad Campbell and Nakobe Dean? Will Jihaad Campbell start the season on the PUP list? I think a lot of us assume that, but we don't really know, right? What if Jihaad Campbell doesn't need the PUP list? What if Jihaad Campbell just misses the first 2 games and he's active week 3? What if there's a situation where Jihaad Campbell doesn't go on the PUP list, he's activated for week 3, Nakobe Dean can't get activated until week 5, can't get activated until week 5, and we see 2 games. We see 2 games with Jihaad Campbell next to Zack Baun, and we love what we see. We love what Vic Fangio loves what he sees. Do we put Nakobe Dean back in spite of that? Do we upset that? Think about that. What if Jihaad Campbell does not start the season on the PUP list? What if he gets activated for week 3 and Nakobe Dean doesn't come back until week 5? You got 2 weeks watching Jihaad Campbell playing next to Zack Baun, and if you like it, if it looks good, if you're dominant, do you change that? That's going to be a question. That's going to be a question. And again, Linda Washington brings up Jeremiah Trotter Jr. He's the guy that's going to have to battle with Smile Mondon to at least get those first few reps in the first few weeks. Because again, I think Jihaad, we don't know when Campbell's coming back. We don't know when Nakobe Dean's coming back. So it's fair to assume probably those first 2 or 3 weeks we're going to be either with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or Smile Mondon starting those first couple weeks. Those first couple weeks, we're definitely going to see Trotter Jr. or Smile Mondon starting. So Trotter Jr. needs to focus on Smile Mondon right now. He needs to focus on that person in front of him. Kyle Kokorski says, don't mess up the mojo. I feel you on that. My dad said he got the grill fired up. Crazy food. Stop by and get yours. Happy Memorial Day, Dad. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Tell him I'll stop by and get some food. You funny as hell, knowing damn well where I'm at. See, I did all my grilling yesterday and the day before. I got all my grilling done. I got all my grilling out the way. I didn't want to cook on Memorial Day. I got all my grilling done Sunday and Saturday. And my dad throw down too. My dad and my stepmom, they throw down. They throw down, man. My mom do too. My parents throw down. For sure. So yeah, man. That's pretty much our topics for today, right? I just wanted to get you guys thinking about this dynamic that Jihaad Campbell and Andrew Mukuba bring to the table. And on top of that, I wanted to check the temperature with you guys as it pertains to Nakobe Dean and his overall health, because Nakobe Dean, he has been taking ballet in the offseason to help with mobility and flexibility. He's looked good. He's been moving around, no crutches, no boot. He's been moving and shaking, so he's clearly making progress. The question is, will he be ready to go come week 1 or week 2? Right? We even assume Nakobe Dean goes on the pup list. We assume that. What if he's ready by week 1, week 2? We don't know. So many unanswered questions. But overall, I think the linebacker position is in good hands, regardless of how it shakes out. If it's Nakobe Dean, if it's Jihaad Campbell, if it's Smile Mondon, you know what I mean? I think the linebacker position is in good hands. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is there. Zack Baun especially. And then Andrew Mukuba, right? Stepping in at safety. Stepping in for stepping in at safety. No Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Sidney Brown is going to compete for that spot as well. Reed Blankenship is a vet who's been on 2 Super Bowl teams. Has learned next to CJ, has learned what to do and what not to do, right? I think Reed Blankenship takes another step in his own career as well, takes another step for himself, So Andrew Mukuba, Sidney Brown, what does that battle look like? It all remains to be seen. Miss Fanny with the super chat. She said, we forgot about Nolan Smith's injury. Oh, wow. I forgot about that. Nolan Smith definitely got shoulder surgery this offseason. He definitely did. So that would definitely make a lot of sense why the Eagles went heavy at the edge position in free agency. And they also drafted linebacker the way they did, because Jihaad Campbell brings you versatility on the edge and at off-ball linebacker. And Antoine Powell-Ryland obviously is a situational pass rusher that we all like. That was very productive in college. You brought in Azeez Ojulari. You brought in Josh Uche. You brought back Patrick Johnson, right? You still got Jalen Hunt. So Nolan Smith, where does he start? Where does he end up? That's a very good question, Fanny. There hasn't really been any updates on Nolan Smith's injury. Let me see if I can find something, if there is something. But I haven't heard anything. So, yeah, he got surgery after playing with a torn tricep. Now, we know when our guy BG had that injury as well, he made it back for the Super Bowl, but he still wasn't fully healthy. He just didn't care. But I think from February up until look, think about it like this, right? I want to say BG got hurt in November. And he was back for the Super Bowl in February. So December, January, February, 3 months. Nolan Smith got the surgery in February. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Nolan's going to have 6 to 7 months at the very least to get right, to recover, to be fully healthy for training camp. I think Nolan Smith is going to be good to go on day one. That's what I think. Just doing the math, because he had the same injury as BG, the torn tricep. I think Nolan's good to go. BG was playing in the Super Bowl, what? December, January, February, like 3 months later? Because I think he got hurt at the end of November. I think it was week 12, week 13 when BG got hurt. It was the Rams game, right? I think it was like week 12, week 11 maybe, between that time. So I think Nolan Smith will be good to go when the season starts. S. Blunt, my guy, he says, call it. 4 safeties and linebackers, day one versus Dallas. Interesting. Day one, I'm going to say Mukuba and Reed Blankenship. And at linebacker, I'm going to say that's tough. Zack, Baun, and you know what? Week one, my safeties are Reed Blankenship and Andrew Mukuba. And my 2 linebackers are Zack, Baun and Trotter Jr. Yep. Those are my starting linebackers on week one. Because again, I don't think Campbell or Dean will be ready by week one. I don't think so. They may not lead, but they also may not need the pupless either. But I think the pupless is something we assume, especially with Nakobe. So I think week one, Mukuba, Blankenship, Baun, Trotter Jr., right? Now, Smile Mondown is going to be back there as well. So that's how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm looking at it. But look, you guys, we're going to get out of here. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. You guys have been phenomenal donating to the channel. I appreciate all of my members. You guys have been phenomenal as well. I am working on a members-only stream, a members-only roundtable. I am working on that for you guys. So we're going to try to get that done this week. We're going to do a members-only roundtable. All right? We're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to have some topics, some conversation pieces. We're going to debate. We're going to agree. We're going to disagree. And also, I'm going to let you guys cook. You know what I mean? I'll moderate. I'll navigate the conversations and make sure we stay on track. But I'm in the process of setting up a members only live stream, a members only roundtable, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And then once we're live for a while, then we'll open the stream up to the public. But we're definitely going to have a members only roundtable, you guys. So make sure you guys stay engaged. That's going to happen one day this week. And I really can't wait for you guys to be locked in the way you guys have been. So make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. It's been great. I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on your dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the gang.